All right, Algebra 2. Let's look at page 410 in your book. Let's try a couple problems. Number 12, y equals 3x plus 1. The instructions are find inverse, and is it a function? Remember, you can't spell function without fun. Yay! Go ahead. Okay, we're back. Are you ready to go? Step 1, switch the x and the y. Step 2, success. Divide by 3. That's kind of a funky looking fraction, but that's okay. So y equals x minus 1 over 3. Okay, now is this a function? Well, we're looking for that plus or minus. If you see that plus or minus, it is not a function. Do we see a plus or minus? No. So it is not a function. So it is a function. If you don't see the plus or minus, then it is a function. And that's all that's really going to happen funky as far as we're concerned. All right, let's try one more. Number 32. F of x equals the square root of x plus 7. Find inverse, domains, ranges. Find inverse, domains, ranges. Is the inverse a function? Go ahead and try it. Okay, we're back. The first thing I want to do is note the domain here. Now the graph, I'm going to do a different graph here. Let me pick a different color for that. The graph y equals square root x is this. Starts at the origin, square root of 0 is 0, square root of 1 is 1, square root of 4 is 2. So it looks like that. Now, I'm taking this graph and I'm moving it left 7. So if I look at this graph is y equals square root, of x plus 7. So this graph starts at negative 7, 0. So the domain for this graph is x is greater than or equal to negative 7. The range is y is greater than or equal to 0. Because that's where the graph goes. It goes positive in terms of both. It goes up and it goes to the right. So it's in addition to that point. If it went a different way, we'd have to think of it a little differently. So of our original function, the domain x is greater than or equal to negative 7. Whoops, the range y is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, let's solve for the inverse. Switch them around. I'm all fancy with my colors here. I'm trying. Doesn't make any difference at all. I don't know. So square both sides. So you get x squared is equal to y plus 7. Subtract 7. Okay, and so the domain and range will flip as well. Let me write this how y equals. We're just in a good habit of putting the y first, I suppose. Okay, so let's switch around the domain and range. Okay, the domain, the definitions don't change. The domain is still the x values. The range is still the y values. We switch these over here. Okay, so this is your inverse. Your inverse is y equals x squared minus 7 with these stipulations. Because if you actually graph this with the original function, you get additional stuff. So if we add these stipulations in, then we get the exact same thing on both sides of that diagonal line. There's some problems in the middle. We're not going to do one of those, but when you work on them in your assignment, just graph the one line and try to flip it over the line. So for example, if you have a graph, here's your diagonal line. If you have a graph that looks like this, flip it over the line. So now it's going to look like, let me see. Brain fart. Oh yeah, it's going to go the other way. So now it's going to look like that. That's a really bad drawing. Anywho, just try it graphically for those ones in the middle. See what you can do, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow. Go ahead and do your 3 questions. And your assignment is 13 through 35 odd. I had to run over and look because I forgot to write it down here. Peace out.